Our hearts go out this week to Australian journalist Cheng Lei and her family in Victoria. Cheng has spoken publicly for the first time 3 years after she was imprisoned in China. The Australian government has been unable to do anything to help. She dictated her letter to diplomats who are allowed to visit her only once a month. She said, quote, "I miss the sun. In my cell, the sunlight shines through the window, but I can stand in it for only 10 hours a year. I haven't seen a tree in 3 years." Lei was a finance reporter for China's state TV network's English language channel, CGTN, when she was taken away by police in 2020. She spent her first 6 months in solitary confinement without charge. She was put on trial in secret in March last year and has been waiting more than 16 months for her sentence to be delivered. Nice justice system you got going there, China. Seriously, Beijing, you can't do better than that? Even Australia's ambassador to China couldn't enter the court proceedings, and her family only know that the charges involve allegations of state secrets. You notice how socialists do this, folks? They keep the rules nice and vague and muddy so they can charge people with anything and make the rules up as they go along. The most gut-wrenching line of her letter read, "Most of all, I miss my kids." Please don't take your freedoms for granted, folks. They're not the norm in the world, and they didn't come out of nowhere. Before you decide to get all trendy, criticising European history, colonialism, America, Britain, and our own elders here in Australia and ancestors, think about what you have and value it. It takes very little to get to a point of tyranny and injustice like China has reached. All it takes is a corruption of the systems so that they become a joke, so that procedure and rules replace common sense and human goodness. The dehumanized and dehumanizing horror of polite bureaucracy. Cheng Lei is a political prisoner. Her arrest has nothing to do with anything she did or said, and everything to do with the trade wars and diplomatic tensions between Australia and China. She is being used as a bargaining chip. Only a sociopathic regime and government system like centralised communism could do this to an innocent woman. Sadly, we're left to face the reality that Australia is simply too small and weak to do much about it. Will the Brits and Americans help us and honour their history of freedom and liberty and justice? Not likely these days, given they're similarly persecuting another Australian, Julian Assange, as we speak. It's hard to hold the moral high ground when you act as badly as the worst violators of human rights in the world.